You want me to break code? Okay. So I work as an integrator working on smart homes and such. We don't really have any government codes other than being so far from gas lines. However, my boss wanted me to break this very code when wiring for a house to cheapen expenses for less wire. Otherwise, we would have had to have pulled wire from one side of the house to the other, then into the basement, rather than just pulling straight down and across. Basically, we would cut material costs down by about 65%. However, I knew it was wrong. Told him code, but he said it would be fine. Well, as it turns out, I did exactly what he told me to do. But the owner of our company was not pleased. The house failed inspection. We were the main cause, and I got blamed for it. Little did my boss know that I recorded all notes that he gave me and time-stamped them in our official documents, and pictures were included with the notes. Cover your ass, folks. Anyways, my boss got chewed out and I got to save my job. A little malicious compliance turns into a load of satisfaction, haha. Update. Well, didn't expect to get so many upvotes. So thanks. Also, to answer some questions. I am in the US, but I run low voltage wires. The space I could run the wire was about 10 inches in diameter. So enough to get a gas line and wiggle room. Sadly, it was going through a concrete wall, and concrete bits don't go big enough to fit all the wire we had to, and you can't drill through a load-bearing wall. So all I could do was go around it on the other side of the house. But he wanted me to run it through the hole with the gas line. Code in the US states that anything with electrical current can't be run next to a gas line within 2 feet or so. I try to just avoid it at all costs as not to have that code come into play. As for my boss, he was a co-owner of the company I work for, but he went through a divorce a number of years ago. Therefore, his business partners convinced him to sell his share to them, but he gets permanent job security. This was to avoid the ex-wife, crazy, from getting any say or control of the small business. Look, my boss has fucked up so many times on so much, and I've only worked there for a year, and if I were to have screwed up on half the stuff he has, I would have been fired a long time ago. CYA is the real code. Don't ever break it. Why does your boss keep his job? I mean, this shit is dangerous, and all that happens is he gets chewed out? I would have fired his stupid ass for doing something like this. Document, document, document. Fucking everything. Every conversation. Everything you do. Document the shit out of it. A boss at a posh animal clinic once told me that, God forbid, you get hit by a bus on your lunch break. We need to know what has or hasn't been taken care of, and to document the patient's owners' interactions with yourself and staff. I've carried this over to my current job working with human patients. Everything I task to the providers I document. Every phone call I have with patients, documented. Every call with suppliers, documented. Every fucking fax I send, documented. It's covered my ass on multiple occasions. It really pisses me off when I've tried multiple times to reach out to a doctor and they haven't responded to the patient. The patient gets pissed at me. Oh no dear, the doctor has gotten my messages every time you call in. Wanna talk to the office manager? Your turn, boss lady, to cover the doc's ass and explain why a round of golf was more important than getting back to a patient. With a boss like that, I'd be job searching now, but keep quiet about it. Kinda sad that your job was at risk, but your boss only faces a chewing out. You'd think the boss would be held to a higher, or at least equal, standard. As an electrician, this is something I won't do. You want a code-violating shortcut? Finish the job yourself. Read interrogator and thoughts this was gonna be a hard read. Yep. CYA. In my last job I always kept a paper trail as some of the managers were sure to throw you under the bus if things went wrong. Manager: hey op, I want you to do insert dodgy thing. Quote, me: sure boss. Send that to me in an email first though. Manager loses interest suddenly and never mentions it again. I work in an industry that requires lots of code compliance that if not done correctly, people could die. Without a doubt, if you ever find yourself in this situation, never knowingly do something that isn't code compliant even if told to do so. It is disgusting and unethical to do that. Would you be able to live with yourself if something bad happened, like the house burned down? People did this in Italy when building homes and an earthquake came and killed way more people than it should have. Codes are there for a reason, to keep you and everyone safe, and it is your ethical duty to make sure everything you do adheres to them. If you knowingly don't follow code, you could be guilty if something happens. Can we get a CYA flare? How expensive was the wire that it was worth redoing? In my experience, wire is so much cheaper than labor, it's always worth using more to get the job right. So let me get this straight. You knowingly ran electrical beside a gas line that could possibly cause an explosion? This guy has permanent job security. He should just sit at his desk and do nothing. Get paid. Can't get fired. Easy money. I'm guessing that inspections must not be routine. If they are routine, how would you expect to get away with it? Did you have personal experience with the ex-wife to know she was crazy, or did you blindly believe a known grifter? Putting up with him on a personal level might be enough to force anyone to act out. Really? Why aren't you looking for another job? Though this said you were an interrogator, and I was so confused and honestly upset that there were not more codes to follow. I literally walked off a job when I was being ordered to break life safety code on the fire alarm replacement job in a medical facility. Oddly enough, my boss, while wasn't exactly happy about it, didn't really fight me. I think that he knew it was for the best. They still build houses with gas lines. This isn't malicious compliance though. It's just following orders and covering your butt. Related but not the same.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.